Welcome to my voiceover world.
Hey, there he is.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing all right. What are we covering today? What are we talking about?
Well, for that, I like to say this to you, but thanks for willing to do this.
Oh, hey, thanks for having me, Ann. I really appreciate it. It's so remarkable that as a voice actor we get any recognition at all. So it's just a really cool feeling.
Yeah, just like how I done it with many others for 4 years, actually.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. I've seen a couple of your interviews, man. They're really nice. I'm sure everybody's got to just feel really awesome about just being recognized at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna be straight with you, but I've been hearing so much about you because of the show Bleach.
Oh yeah.
From the character Pesce, and
Mm-hmm.
because of that character, I'm beginning to learn more about who you really are. And through Su- through Superman, the animated series, my
Yeah.
childhood, through all many others, it helped me realize that you, my friend, deserve a lot of recognition for all the things you have done there. And that's
I
the
appreciate that.
reasoning why it led to me wanting to talk to you right there.
Oh, I appreciate that. It is it's a lot of fun to do that kind of stuff. The cartoons and animation is the most fun that we get to have when we do voiceover. So it is absolutely my pleasure to be able to do those characters as well.
Well, that's a good thing to hear from you, Michael. But I got a lot of questions I wanted to ask you.
All right, let's roll. Are you getting enough volume from me for the show and everything? Do you need me to turn it up or down or
Don't worry, I hear you just awesome right here.
perfectly? All right, well let's dive in. Do what you do.
To f- to start off there, but you've been part of many projects right
Mhm.
there. So, how does it feel about bringing so many characters to life throughout many projects over the years?
It's really the most fun I have. When I am a trained actor as well as voiceover actor. I did a lot of improvisation and sketch comedy and stage, and so anytime you're able to use your whole bag of tricks as a voice actor, it really just it sort of feeds your soul. There's a very creative thing about doing animation that is filled when you actually sit in front of the microphone and start pretending to be somebody else.
That's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to hear from you, which
Mhm.
leads me to the most important question, but what is it that inspired you to pursue voice acting? And what is the best
Mm.
decision you have made so far that has excelled into your voice acting career?
Well, what's funny? I didn't necessarily start out just wanting to be a voiceover actor. That was certainly, it wasn't the main reason I started. I started mostly doing stage and some on camera work because I enjoyed performing. I enjoyed making people laugh. I enjoyed hearing laughter. That's the selfish side of it. But eventually, along the way, as I was performing and working a little bit, I went into my agent and I said, a lot of people keep telling me I should try this voiceover thing, and what is it? And she handed me a couple pieces of audition copy, and I went into the studio and I recorded the audition. And I think the third or fourth audition I ever recorded, I booked. And it was for, I think, J.C. Penney's back to school sale or something like that. And uh, I thought, wow, boy, that was really fun, and also probably something I should look into really doing professionally because apparently I kind of had a knack for it. So I jumped right in and started working with a coach and made a demo, and from there just luckily started working. And I realized pretty quickly that that was how I was going to make a living. And then on down the line, there was a writer's strike and an actor's strike, and my voiceover career took off. And uh, by the time all those strikes were over, that's how I made it. And this was 2008, so this was the writer's strike back then. And I realized that was just how I was going to make a living. And anybody will tell you that if you can make a living in the entertainment industry, no matter what it is, um, just jump in and do it. And voiceover was how I was able to do that. And so I just gave it everything I had and just went right into it. And I think that was probably the best decision I made because since then I've been, knock on wood, working nonstop.
Wow, that's that's an interesting story. I'm beginning to learn
Mm.
from you. And that right here shows that whatever it is you've been through, it's just takes a lot of time to just make things look awesome for your career. Because hey, you
Yeah.
you you have made a lot of good decisions right there. And the writer's strike, on the other hand, it's something that I've been seeing recently, especially that whole video game strike thing that has been going on
Hmm.
recently. And
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, where is it all even coming from? And and I don't know
It,
why, but everyone has the right to just do whatever they can to just make these things into something more just by opening
yeah.
themselves to reality. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Look, the union has decided that we and all of us that are doing the video games have decided we need better pay and working conditions. And um, a lot of companies have decided that we're right and they've signed an intern agreement. And so we're able to work for those companies. And, um, hopefully everybody else just kind of figures it out. They get to the bargaining table and start talking again. It's a bummer because I think there's a lot of games that are probably going to suffer quality of actors and everything else because they're not able to use established union talent. So
I see. Hmm. I'm glad you and I are both on the same page there. But yeah, for every actor who ever faced rejection, have you ever faced any rejections from auditions? And how do you handle all these setbacks? And what keeps you all motivated to help
Mm.
overcome these obstacles and manage to get all these trials into something more?
Well, we get probably anywhere from 5 to 10 auditions every day emailed to us because I have a home studio. So agents just email everything to us and we record our auditions and we send them out into the world and hope you get hired. But so honestly, I get rejected every single day because we don't book everything that we audition for. In fact, I think my booking rate is probably like 5% of what I audition for, and that's great. I'm happy to book 5% because enough work to keep us going. But a lot of it is um, I don't know if you're a sports fan. I'm a big sports fan as well. I'm a baseball fan. And what they tell closers who pitch the ninth inning, if they go in and pitch the ninth inning and they lose the game for their team, they give up a home run, they give up the winning run. The very next day, they may have to go out and pitch. So what they say is that you have to have a short-term memory. And whatever happened yesterday doesn't matter. Just go back out and do your thing again the very next day. And, there have been a lot of times where really big jobs come down to me and the guy that got it, or me and the other person. I don't book the job, and those are really hard because you probably had an audition and then a callback and then another callback and an in-person thing and demos and back and forth and negotiations, and then you don't get the job. And again, you just gotta forget about it. And the next time you step in front of the microphone, just pretend like it never happened and start going for it again. And you got to put everything into every audition, or you're just not going to have a chance.
Wow, that's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to learn from you. And yeah, I'm glad you told me that, because honestly, I'm actually trying out auditions and casting call clubs so that I can
Hmm.
get myself
Hmm.
out there, since I myself, as a voice actor, am just working hard to get myself into a real project yet to come. So
Yeah,
that's
I
something
and
I
I
wanted
think
to express to you.
a lot of it is you got to learn from if you do have an in-person audition, which they don't do a lot of right now. It's mostly callbacks. So they'll be in person, but you have to learn from your mistakes. So all the times you're throwing all those auditions out there, try to seek out the finished product, whether it's a commercial or a cartoon. Um, well, like everybody, I fast forward through commercials because that's what we do. But occasionally I'll see one and go, oh, wait, hang on, back up to my wife and say, Let's watch this one." And I'll hear the voice that they hired that wasn't if it wasn't my voice or someone close to me, then I go, okay, they just wanted somebody else. But if it was somebody that is close to me, I pay real close attention to how they read the commercial and their sound and what necessarily booked that commercial or that cartoon. And you go, oh, okay, now I got to try and learn how to do that because this guy worked. This guy's working with that sound. I don't have that sound. How do I get that? So a lot of it is just it's constant preparation and constant learning. I mean, you can never stop learning. The second you think you've learned it all, you'll never work again.
Hmm. That's a very good thing I'm beginning to hear from you, and I'm glad I'm learning something from you. All it takes is a lot of good good listening ears from
Hmm.
someone who is experienced to just understand the concept of what it means to get myself out there. And I'm glad
Yeah.
you told this to me, and I should thank you for that.
Like
But
part of the wonderful thing that I've noticed about the community of voiceover is that there's not a whole lot of pretension. There's not a whole lot of egos. At least there shouldn't be. We are a voice, and we're only as good as our voice and our abilities. So you and I have a similar vocal quality, but you may have made different choices on an audition that they just loved, and so they hire you instead of me. So why wouldn't I want to learn from you? I mean, you just booked something and I didn't, so I go, oh wow, I got to figure out what he did, and I got to learn how to do that. So there's anybody who tells you like they know the key to voiceover and they know everything, they're lying. They're absolutely lying to you. Nobody knows everything, otherwise they'd be working all the time, you know.
hmm, good choice of words there, and that's the wisdom that I'll remember right there. Now, for the questions of every characters, but
Hmm.
do you remember the first ever character, like an audition, for example, that you ever voiced in? And what was the experience like being in this first ever audition or project, by all means?
Yeah, the first big one led to my first big job, which was the Green Lantern. And I didn't actually even audition for the Green Lantern. I actually auditioned for Robin in the same show, and I forget who the actor that they booked for Robin, but he got that part, and the casting director just heard my audition and said, "Oh, you know what? He'd be great for this other part," and they gave me that part, which I don't really remember the audition for Robin, but I do remember walking into the initial recording session for the Green Lantern episode, and it was one of the coolest things I've ever done still, because the way they do it is the entire cast is there, and we each have our own microphone, and you sit kind of in a semicircle, and everybody's around, and Superman was there, and Lois Lane, and everybody else, um, Jimmy, and everybody, and the bad guy Ted Levine was there, and you just perform it. We ran through the whole script top to bottom twice. I mean, they're 22-minute episodes, so it doesn't take very long. And then they'll have you do pickups or whatever. But it was really, really amazing to just, and I was so nervous because this was my first big cartoon job. I was like, so I prepped for 2 days with the script and made markings all over everything. I was incredibly nervous, and it couldn't have been a more fun experience just sitting there learning from the other actors, reacting off their talent and abilities, and just performing that thing. Oh, there's my wife. Hi. Oh, there's my wife and dog. Say hi to my dog. There's Luca. Yeah,
That's,
she's taking the dog out. So.
I see. Well, from the looks of things, you telling me your first ever audition is just a very unique choice that you gave to me. All I know is
Yeah.
that just in case if I ever do a voice showcase for you, just on my YouTube channel, like I've done
Hmm.
it for many others for almost a few years.
Hmm.
No, 4 years.
Wow.
At just through Kevin Conroy, which I did a few days
Yeah.
ago, through
Yeah.
Brad Venable, through Billy Kometz, everyone. I've done
Yeah.
it all for almost a 4 years, and I'll do the same for you. That way,
Okay.
your work can be recognized for
Oh, that would be
everything you
great.
have done.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's
That would
what
be
I do
amazing.
best, always.
They are those guys. May they both rest in peace, Kevin and Brad. They were just amazing people. I didn't know either one of them very well, but they were lovely, lovely people.
Yes, which is why I made those videos for them, in order to get everyone's support to help them be remembered. And
Yeah,
it all worked out successfully.
that is very kind.
Yes. Now, about your characters, one of them
Hmm.
I would like to presume, but how did it feel about stepping into the role of Komoya in Digimon Data Squad? And what do you like about being part of that show as that character?
I got really lucky with that. One of my best friends in the world is Jeff Nimoy, who was sort of the guru of Digimon. He brought it, helped bring it to the States and popularize it, and did a lot of the characters and everything. So when he offered me that part, I had no reason to say no. I was also helping him write the show at the time, and I just remember having so much fun because you're working with your best friend and he's directing you and you're we just played a lot with the character until we found the right voice and the right attitude and yeah, he was that guy was kind of a little badass, so he was a lot of fun.
I see. You know, I never even know Jeff Nimoy is your best friend until you told me. But
Yeah.
I'm glad you expressed out what you just told to me. All
Hmm.
it takes is a lot of knowledge to simply understand. But about Digimon there, you being
Hmm.
part of it was just a unique choice right there. Plus, Digimon has been going on for almost a few years since what was the year again? Oh, right, 1999. And
Yeah,
you being part of
99.
it, best choice ever. And I'm glad Jeff was able to bring you over there,
Yeah,
especially when
he
you got to be with a lot of people there.
it's a really fun little show. I mean, I didn't know it as well as I do now. Certainly not that I've written with it and worked on it. But everybody involved with it's just really fun people. So it's really it's just a blast to go in and when we got to go in and work on it because everybody was just having a good time and it the good thing about these shows is that you have to take the work seriously, but it's not serious work. It's fun. We're playing. We get to play. That's what we do. We don't get to be ourselves. We get to be somebody else, and we get to pretend. And just like when we were kids, So it's really just a way to hold on to your youth, I guess.
Well, that's a good sign to hear from you, especially when it comes to seeing a lot of childhood stuff happen in life.
Hmm.
But yeah. So, about you playing your character named Harry in Jungle Master Candy Planet, what was your most favorite aspect about bringing him to life in that project?
Boy, Harry, yeah, I can remember the voice. That's digging deep. I do remember that was an original character that we could really play with and try and find the right character. And I forget who directed it, but he was really gracious with allowing all of us to just really play. And he would show us the drawing of what the character looked like and work with the creator and himself and the writer to kind of come up with what the right voice was. So, we did probably 5 or 6 different meetings to just try and find a voice. And once we had it, it was really fun to then just explore that space and dig into the character. And really get to know him and give him to the world.
I see. Well, that's a very good sign to hear from you. But to get the name of this person who brought you in there, his name is if I'm not mistaken, his first
Mm.
name is Bill, right? Bill G. Guttapop or just Kimberly Phillips by all means. Because all I
Yeah,
know is
Bill.
that
Yeah, I think I remember Bill. Yeah, and Kimberly. Yeah, they were really great to work with. Yeah.
Yes, now I'm starting to get the picture. All I know is that you being part of it is just a very fun thing right there. Especially when your character got to meet a lot of people there, like
Mm.
through Trimi Length, through Robbie Damon, even Derek Stephan, Prince of Digimon, and Dorothy Fun also came along too. And of
Yeah.
course, Miss Cindy Fox, who is like the sweetheart who just
Yeah.
come in to just interact with you with her cute, awesome voice there.
She does have a great voice. That is the truth. Yeah.
Indeed, it's a good it's a good sign to see from everyone in my life there. But it is what it is.
True.
So, in the game called Scooby-Doo Phantom of the Night, what stood
Hmm.
out about you voicing the character Sir Lax-a-Lot? Do you relate to him by all means?
I guess in a way, he's the fun thing if you're a fan of Scooby Doo is that I eventually was the bad guy. So I got to say, and it would have worked too if it hadn't been for you meddling kids, which was a lot of fun. The character was sort of a stoner surfer guy that was playing a knight at a Renaissance fair. So I got to do a really bad like surfer bro accent and then a really posh British accent, which I do not do well, but that was the point. They didn't want a good accent. They just wanted someone to play and have fun. And it was a video game, so I got to work with Mindy Cohn, who's amazing, who plays Velma and played Velma for years and years and years. Who I worked with later on in life again, and the whole crew up back there was it was really cool to be part of the Scooby Doo legacy.
I see. So that's what you love about being in that game right there. All I know is that Scooby-Doo has been my childhood since I was six
Ah,
years old.
yeah.
And to be fair with you, I actually met Daphne herself, Grey
Oh,
Delisle Griffin, whom
very
on the
cool.
other terms has been wanting to meet me for a long time, honestly.
That's
And
great.
she got her wish come true, which was like 2 years ago, actually.
Cool. Yeah. I've
And
never met I've never met her. I worked a little bit with Mindy, but not her. Yeah, but it's unfortunately a lot of times we don't get to work with everybody. We may meet them in passing, as they're leaving or we're coming in and going, but um sometimes it's just sort of solitary. It's just you in the booth with your lines and you go through them and you leave.
I see. That's a good thing to hear from you. But your characters, Homron and Deathroy in Blue
Hmm.
Dragon must be very good characters you played as, right? So let me ask
Yeah.
you this one thing. What made those roles so special to you?
I think it was the first time that I ever kind of got to play the bad boy. A lot of the characters I played previously were the good guys, and Homeron was the misguided hero. He was the bad boy that was also kind of the hero. So it was fun to play that character and have a pretty spectacular death too, if I remember. I think I was killed in a pretty spectacular way. So that's always fun.
Well, that's a good thing to hear from you. Because all I know is that Blue Dragon, on the other hand, which was released in 2008, has
Hmm.
been one of the big shows right there that has looks like the same design as Dragon Ball Z, but a bit
Very much.
different somehow.
Yeah.
Because honestly, there are some shows that has the same design as Dragon Ball Z, such as Land, which was released 1 year ago,
Hmm.
and and what was that other one that I don't that doesn't matter. Just know that you being part of it was just a unique choice there.
It was really
Just
great. It was really fun
yeah,
to be a part of that show. Yeah.
especially when you got to be in a lot of scenes there, when interacting with Lex Lang through Yori Lowenthal, with Liam
Yeah.
O'Brien and everyone. It's like,
Yeah.
man, you being part of some kind of Dragon Ball Z type show is just something else there.
It was really fun. Those guys are the best too. Lex and Yuri are I mean they're the top of the mountain right there. They're on Mount Rushmore as far as anime voice actors go. I would only want to be as good as they are. They're amazing.
They are indeed, actually. And they are just legendary in a way. But
True.
And you are too, to me,
Thank you.
always. So, your character, Ted from Zatch Bell, must be very
Hmm.
cool, right? So let me ask you this one thing. What's
Hmm.
most thrilling about voicing that character right there?
Ted was a cool guy, and I think anytime you get to play that kind of angle on a character is always fun because there's there's the perception of who you want to be sometimes in life and you aren't, and then you get handed a script where they say, "Hey, you're kind of the cool guy." I'm like, "Oh, all right, fun. I get to be the cool guy," you know. So I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot.
That's a very cool thing to hear from you, Michael, because all I know is that you being part of Zatch Bell is just a very awesome thing right there, especially when you and that what was that other guy's name again? Oh, nah, you know what? I won't say it, but just know that you got to interact with Debbie Derryberry, aka
Yes.
Jimmy Neutron, and of
Yeah.
course, Jason Spisak, also known as Selko from Arcane, which
Yep.
you got long before they got into there, you got to interact with them right there in the
Yeah.
show.
Debbie Derryberry is a blast. She's a fun person.
Indeed. And you just interacting with them coolest thing ever, right there. No,
Yeah.
zero hesitation, no problemo.
It's
So,
been
yeah,
it's been really kind of cool to be a part of some of these really big projects and when you record them, it's just a job. You don't really know if it's going to be popular. You don't know if it's going to be a hit or if people are even going to watch it or like it at all. And after they come out and you start hearing the buzz and you're like, "Oh, wow. I was part of that. That's really cool. That's a nice feeling."
of course. Well, then, your character, Pesce Gadatich from Bleach, what's your most favorite aspect about or moment when you got to be the character in the entire anime series?
Boy, I tell you, Pesce he's the strangest character. And I think what was so fun about it is that it was no holds bar. I could do whatever I wanted. Um, a lot of times when we record these to do the English dub, we listen to what the Japanese actor does, and then we try to kind of mimic it or mirror it because we're trying our best to stay true to the original tone and original work. And the thing with Pesce was the actor, the Japanese actor, who I don't know who he was. I would love to meet him someday, but he was all over the place, and he'd be high pitched, then low pitched, and then giggly, and then serious, and then mad, and then overtly sexual for no reason about things. And he, it just gave me license to just whatever popped in my head, just do it. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't, but it didn't matter because if it didn't work, you just come up with some other weird idea, and that did work. He was really fun, and for Pesce and Don DeChaka, the gentleman Pete Sepanik, who plays Don DeChaka, is a good friend as well, and he and I have so much fun playing those two characters because uh, they're just complete goofballs. They're occasionally morons. They're not. Neither one of them is smart. They're both cowards, yet they're both heroes, and it's really a lot of fun to play those guys. And we've gotten some really fun emails from people that just reaching out, saying how much they enjoyed it, and that's always really cool to hear.
I see. So that's what you love about playing that character right
Hmm.
there. All I know is that Bleach has been a big top thing for almost a few years.
It's
Plus,
huge. Yeah.
the Thousand Year Blood War, which is currently in production right now, has
Hmm.
been most popular due to it surpassing the manga. And you
Yeah.
being brought back into it is
It
the
was fun.
best unique choices right there.
Yeah.
No one does a better job playing that character but you. And you know
Thank
what the
you.
best part is? Turns out I actually made videos for you on my YouTube channel involving
Oh,
characters
very
and
cool.
voice actors of every shows. And Bleach and even Bleach Thousand Year Blood War Curd 1, I included you in my videos for your
Oh,
work
that's
to be
amazing.
recognized.
You'll have to email me that link. I'd love to watch that.
Oh,
He's so much fun to play. He really is. I mean, they
and
just gave me such creative license to just go for it. And boy, when they take the brakes off and let you just go, it's really, really fun, you know?
Of course. After all, after all, bleach is just a big top thing going on. But you know
Hmm.
something? That once the entire that once how do I say this? Like once Thousand Year Blood War is completely over with its Curve 4 in production, I will complete my video of the complete series and send it off to you and everyone else in order to
Oh,
get
that'd be great.
your support, in order to get everything that I've worked hard for a few months to my work
Very
in
cool.
vain to be
Yeah,
in set.
great. Can't wait to see it.
Of course you will. That's why I've done it for everyone else over the past 4 years. So yeah. Well, about since we have 10 minutes left, I have
Sure.
two more questions to ask you.
Great.
But what was the most favorite thing about being in the show Naruto as the voice of Yugura and many various characters?
So, what's interesting about Naruto is it's been going on 15 years. I mean, it's a long running show. And I've popped in and out as a couple of different characters. Iwashi, the other guy you mentioned. And what's funny is that from the first time that I did Iwashi, and then the other character, and then in one episode not too long ago, they were both in the same episode. And it had been a really long time since I voiced either character. So when you go in, they say, "Hey, we're gonna play a little sample. Here's what this guy sounds like, and then we'll do those lines." I said, "Okay, cool." So they played Iwashi for me. I said, "Great," and then I did those lines, and then they played the other character, and it sounded exactly like Iwashi because I had done the two characters so far apart. It was years apart that nobody ever thought to check what if they were going to sound alike, and nobody ever thought they were going to wind up in the same thing together. So when we're recording that one episode, we're like, okay, let's go back and record Iwashi again. We'll make him a little deeper, and then we'll do the other guy. We'll make him a little bit higher, so it doesn't sound like the exact same person talking to each other. It was pretty funny.
That's a very interesting thing I'm beginning to hear from you. Because all I know is that you being part of Naruto was just unique choice right there. And Mary Elizabeth McGlenn
Oh,
did a good job
she's the
directing
best.
you in many
Yeah.
things right there. But you know something? Turns out one of your characters you play, Yugura, he's
Mm-hmm.
actually has three voice actors, and you
Oh.
are included. First you, then Nicholas Roy, and then Johnny Young Bosch, Ichigo
Hmm.
Kurosaki. It's like,
Hmm.
boy, is it me or are these voice actors so confusing? I mean, if they ever do a voice comparison thing and behind the voice actors, who do you
Yeah.
think would work? Because I'm rooting for Greco right there.
Thank you. We all sort of sound alike, so it's interesting that I wonder if they just forgot. Somebody forgot to go to IMDb and go, "Hey, wait, who played this guy?" I
Huh?
actually didn't know that the character was voiced by all three of us. That's funny.
That's why I'm telling you this, because behind the voice actors website, which I wanted you to check out later on,
Hmm.
it's something that will help you to just understand yourself right there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's something I want to share with you right there. But
I'll have to check that out. Yeah.
of course, that's what I often do,
Hmm.
just giving information to just help everyone out there. But so, about your other characters,
Hmm.
Theodore and Rogio from the game Phantasy Star Online 2, what's so
Hmm.
awesome about being those two characters right there in the entire game?
That was a really fun session that we did. Luckily, they weren't on the same day, so there was a lot of vocal stuff going on there, a lot of efforting and fighting and all that kind of stuff. But again, it was original characters that we kind of got to mimic and play with, and um, those are always so much fun to do because you just sort of you get to find the voice. You look at the picture, you see what he looks like. If a Japanese actor had worked on it before, we can kind of take cues from them and put the whole thing together. But Most of the time, it's just the people that we're working with in the studio, from the everyone from the engineer to the director to the writer and on down. That you show up and they just make it a great experience. They take care of you. They make sure you're set. They give you the room to be creative. They give you breaks when your voice gets tired. But it was fun. Like as with all of it, it's just fun to be a part of these things and just I haven't even seen all of the. I've never actually seen the game. I've never played it, so I don't know what I sound like at the end of the day. I would love to know.
And that's the very reason why I'll be making that voice showcase video for you.
Oh, very
So
cool.
that way I can help you remember your own voice right there. Just like
That
how
would
I
be
told
perfect.
this to Ellenster and Epcar and the others as a way
Mm,
to just make sure everything works out nicely for everyone.
yeah,
Because
the F
as an
cars are
autistic
great people.
person, I'm willing to use that ability to help everyone here.
That's really cool. I love that you do that.
Indeed, because that's my superpower, as everyone tells me right there. So yeah,
I'm glad you found it because that's not easy to find. Your superpower is not the easiest thing to find.
of course, that's what everybody say. But yeah, I'm glad you expressed that to me. Well, Michael, it is such an honor to finally have you right here, and
Oh, I
that
appreciate it.
having you over is will help you to feel recognized right here.
Thank you.
Always.
I'm glad you're doing this show, Sebastian. I think one of the best things for every voice actor, any actor really, especially in this day and age, it is so easy to create your own content and your own work. And it's why even at this point in my career that I'm lucky enough to be working, I've still kept writing and producing. I've done, a couple of audio dramas, which are on all the podcasts called Strange Air and Trap Street. And, working on those and working on everything, it's all motivation to keep going. And the more stuff you have out there for people to find and listen to and hear how you can act, it makes you more castable. So, if they ever ask, oh, have you done a podcast? Have you done this? And you can point right to your YouTube channel and go, yeah, hey, you can hear hundreds of hours of interviews right here on this channel. So it's so great that you're producing your own content. I think it's one of the most important things voiceover actors can do.
Well, I'm glad you say that, my friend, and I appreciate it. But
Hmm.
there's one more thing before you go.
Yeah.
When people look back on your work, how
Hmm.
do you want to be remembered as a voice
Oh,
actor?
wow.
And make it for 2 minutes. So,
Hmm. I feel like, God, that is a really good question. You stumped me on this one. I think having gone into this industry, I would hope that I just brought truth and reality to those characters. And, from Pesce, who is so crazy, insane alien, to, Kyle Rayner, the Green Lantern, who is a human who gets these incredible powers. I hope whatever I did is I brought a reality and a truth to that character. And that when people watch these things that I've been a part of, that they get enjoyment from it and they just sit back and revel in all the work that everybody did, from the animators to the writers to producers, directors, voice actors, engineers, all of it, and just enjoy it. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is whatever we're doing as voiceover actors is bringing to life something that was previously created and putting it out into the world in the hopes that people enjoy it. So I think that's the one thing that I hope, is that people can look at the body of work that I've been able to do and say, yeah, he did a good job.
interesting thing you did
Yeah.
there. Well, Michael, it is such an honor to finally have you on my show, and that take care, my friend, and I hope
Thank
you
you.
have a wonderful day.
Thank you. You too, Sebastian. Take care. Bye bye.
Want to keep up with my journey? Follow me on social media for more updates, behind the scenes moments, and all the fun along the way.